When you're doing something important, it's easy to feel lost. And that's the paradox of working on something that you've never done before, that maybe hasn't ever been done before, is that you're going to be working on something that doesn't have a path. There is no exact trail for you to follow. You are advancing so much in a particular area, but it doesn't feel like you're advancing. It doesn't feel like you're actually making progress because the progress that you're seeing is a different type of progress than you've ever felt before. What I want to talk about today is this idea of having an outcome focus. Because despite feeling lost in the woods as an entrepreneur or a founder, despite feeling you're not sure exactly where you're going to end up, even though you know that you're moving ahead in some capacity, having an outcome focus is the way to stay grounded in your growth and understand exactly where you're at. And so given that we are about to be in Q3, I thought it'd be useful for us to talk a little bit about this outcome focus, about having an outcome focus. And there's a great book on this topic by Robert Fritz. It's called The Path of Least Resistance. Highly recommend that read. But basically, the extent of his work is really about describing how it helps create the right amount of tension and the right amount of structure anytime we're pursuing creating a business, creating art, creating a project. That's only really possible structurally when we have a very clear vision for the outcome. And there's a big distinction between outcomes and tasks. If we think about our to-do list, if we think about the tasks that we're doing, oftentimes those tasks serve a bigger purpose. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you wanted to host a surprise birthday party for your grandmother, and that is this project that you now want to take on. If you start getting lost thinking about, oh, we need balloons, oh, we need a cake, oh, we should call this person, you're getting stuck in the process of the tasks that you're trying to create rather than the actual outcome you're trying to create. And so a better place to start when you're going to plan a party, as an example, is for you to think about what is the best version of this birthday party I could possibly imagine. How can I create a vision, an outcome that I want to be driving for that then helps me see and understand what the tasks would be to get to that outcome? So you might imagine it being a surprise. You might imagine it being at the country club. You might imagine it having all of her friends around. You might imagine there being this big cake that has her name written on it and it's her favorite flavor. And so what you want to do is you want to start really getting clear on what it is that you're trying to actually create. You want to envision the art. You want to envision the project. You want to envision what completion looks like in a way that's very satisfying to you. And if you can start by imagining the outcome, what that's going to do is it's going to dictate the tasks. It's going to dictate the to-dos. And if you do it the other way around, you start planning to-dos and you start planning tasks without actually knowing exactly where you're going. And this is the feeling that I was describing that many entrepreneurs often face and feel, where they're doing a lot, but they're not sure where they're going. So having an outcome focus is going to support you in knowing what it is that you're doing, what tasks are going to be most helpful for you to get there and most effective. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what's going to be most effective to get to the outcome you want. And maybe most importantly, it's going to ground you in those moments where you feel lost. I like to imagine that Da Vinci, when he was creating the David, he probably got halfway through the creation of that and maybe had one of those moments where he was like, uh-oh, what is this turning into? I'm forgetting where I'm going. The marble is half done so I can see the outcome, but I'm also a little bit lost and there's dust everywhere. And wait, where am I again? These are the moments where we can go back to grounding ourselves in what our vision is and what it is that we want to create. So given that we're about to enter a new quarter, although you can do this at any time, why don't you take a minute and try and just get really clear on the 1 to 3 outcomes that you're trying to create. What would it look like? What would it feel like? What is the vision? What's the visual of it? How will you know when what you're working on is done? What is the best possible vision or the most exciting possible vision of an outcome that you can imagine. And how can we return to that? And you can keep this as a small list or in a little note for yourself or even just on a sticky. How can you return to those outcomes when you feel lost, when you inevitably get way deep in the doing? This will help you get back to that. So I hope this helps you as you plan the quarter ahead. Write out the 1 to 3 outcomes that are most important to you in your business, maybe 3 outcomes you're trying to achieve in your life. Make them specific, make them exciting, make them a vision, and I think that'll help you next time you feel lost. That's it for today. Feel free to leave any comments. I'd love to chat with you there, and I'll be back very soon. Later.